Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapade Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च श्रीकृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome all for today's Bhagavad class. We are going to start the 8th chapter, but before that we'll just review. So in the last chapter we saw that in verse number 29 and after verse number 30, especially, Krishna explained about Sa Adi Bhuta, Sa Adi Daivam Mam, Sa Adi Yagyam. So these words were very new for Arjuna and he wanted to know what is these words all, because from all of a sudden Krishna started saying all this. So the 8th chapter will start with what are these words all about? What do you mean by this Adi Daivam, Adi Bhutam? What is all this? And therefore, Arjuna is asking these questions to Krishna that please explain me these words. I am not able to understand. I am not familiar with these words. Let us discuss about this. So let's start this verse number 1. Arjuna Vacha Kim Tad Brahma Kim Adhyatmam Kim Karma Purushottama Adi Bhutam Cha Kim Proktam Adi Devam Kim Uchyate. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruity activities, material manifestation, and what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. So, uh, Adi Brahman means what is Brahman. Then, further, Adhyatman means what is self. And then, what are further fruity activities is karma. And then, what is material manifestation? That is Adi Bhutam. And then what are demigods? That is Adi Devam. On and please explain to me. So Krishna, Arjuna is actually asking about Brahman, Adhyatma, Karma, Adi Bhuta, and Adi Deva, Adi. And further he will ask some more things in verse number 2. So purport. In this chapter, Lord Krishna answers different questions from Arjuna, beginning with what is Brahman? So he will explain from verse number 3. Devotion service and yoga principles. And devotion service in its pure form. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains that the supreme absolute truth is known as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. In addition, the living entity, the individual soul, is also known as Brahman. So Arjuna also inquires about Atma. So a single word can mean different things. So Arjuna also inquires about Atma, which refers to body, soul, and mind. So same Brahman can also mean Jiva according to the context. And the same Brahman can mean the impersonal Brahman or the Brahma Jyoti in which somebody merges. And the same Brahma Jyoti or the Brahman can mean either Paramatma or Bhagwan. So it all depends on what is the context behind the thing. So we know from Bhagavatam that there are three aspects of the Lord or Supreme Personality God: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. Out of that, Paramatma is only there in the material world. There is no Paramatma in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is only Brahman and Bhagwan. And then Paramatma comes with every living entity as his guide, supervisor. That is, he guides whenever we need, and generally he guides when we want guidance from him. Otherwise, he just remains as uh, an approver and the person who is just one who is if we see when there's some justice going on, we require evidence. So for evidence, we call somebody that, oh, you have seen the problem that you have seen. So in this way, it has been seen. So therefore, he's a seer. He sees all the activities. Paramatma never intervenes in our free will. He will just see and take the necessary things to forward. If the what we want is according to our karma or according to our the results which we have, if we have that much, like if there is some expenses there for 100 rupees, if we have a 100 rupees account balance, we'll just approve. And if there is not a balance, we will not approve. That's the rule of Paramatma. But when we become devotees, what happens is this Paramatma role is taken by Krishna, if we are devotees of Krishna. And then Krishna, he intervenes. He then gives, oh, you are not doing right, like do like this, or he helps us. So this is the role of Bhagwan. So these are three aspects which are there. And Brahman is the effulgence of Bhagwan, that is the Anga Kanti or the light coming from Bhagwan. So this is there in there. So this word Brahman may mean different means. So here in this context where Arjuna is asking, Brahman means actually the Jiva. The Jiva, that is we, the living entity. So according to Vedic dictionary, Atma refers to mind, body, soul, and senses also. So also Atma also refers to different things. Sometimes Atma may refer to mind, sometimes soul, and sometimes body, and sometimes senses also. So these are different meanings. So why it is so? Because see, if you see in a body now, then mind is center of activities, which helps in thinking, willing, and feeling. So wherever the mind goes, we go. And mind is the cause of bondage, and mind is the cause of liberation also. And therefore, it is called as the main thing in the body. And therefore, one of the meaning of Atma is mind. Similarly, soul is indestructible. We know it is Sachidanand, and therefore it's called Atma. And sometimes body and sense are also referred as Atma. So Arjuna has addressed the Supreme Lord as Purushottama, the Supreme Person, which means that he was putting these questions not simply to a friend, but to a Supreme Person, knowing him to be Supreme Authority and able to give definite answers. So whom we ask the questions is very important. Not everybody can give us answers. See, everybody can hear us empathetically. Oh, this is going on. Okay, this is going on. Okay, these are things on. So these things can happen, but nobody can give an authentic answer, or may give us answer, but we may not understand, or we might not come to that, or the answers may not be according to what we can do or follow. Like sometimes in Vedas, there's some prashchit that if you do this wrong thing, then you have to drink 2 liters of hot ghee. Now, it is good prashchit, but if we do that, will we be alive? So we cannot even follow that. So here Arjuna is asking Krishna why? Because he knows he will give answers also, and answers will be such that he will able to understand, he'll be able to apply also something. So that is why he's asking questions to Krishna. So other further questions asked by Arjuna is Adi yajna katham koatra dehasmin madhusudana prayana kale sa katham geyo asi niyatatmabhi. So Adi Yajna. So we saw Brahman, Adi Adhyatma, Karma, Adi Bhuta, and Adeva. These were the 5 questions asked in first verse. Now in this verse, the 3 questions asked us Adi Yajna. Adi Yajna Katham. What do you mean by Adi Yajna? And how is Adi Yagya known in the body? Deha asmin madhusuna. How you know in the body? So Deha means body. So how do you know? So this is the second question in this verse. And then Prayana Kale Katham Geyo Asi Nityat. So Prayana Kala means when we leave the body. So at the time of death. So at the time of death, uh, how to know you? So when because I will come to you if I know you at the time of death. I want to go to back to it. But how to know you at the time of death? Please answer this question to me. So in this way, three questions are asked in this verse number 2. So let's see. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? So sacrifice means yajna, and Lord of sacrifice is Adi Yajna. And how does he live in the body? So how does this Adi Yajna live in the body, in the heart? And O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged devotionaries know you at the time of death? So Prayana Kale, at the time of death, Katham Gayasi. So Gayasi, how do you know? Niyata Atmabi, by the self-control. So the person who has self-control can know you. But how to know you? So please answer these questions. Purport. Lord of sacrifice may refer either to Indra or Vishnu. So when we do yajna, there are so many mantras chanted. Om Indraya Swaha, Om Varunaya Swaha. So many is there. So Lord of sacrifice may be either referred to Indra or Vishnu. So Vishnu is the chief of all primal demigods, including Brahma and Shiva. And Indra is the chief of all administrative demigods. So there is a difference between both of them. See, Vishnu is the chief of all primal demigods. So, so that means he is the main. But in case of administrative, so Vishnu has given this administrative power to Indra. So Indra is the person who does the main administrative work. So Brahmaji is given with the task of creation, but day-to-day activities is given to Indraji. So Indraji like rains, then the sun, moon, and all. So this all work is given to Indraji. So Indra is chief, and under him so many demigods are there. So it's administrative demigod. So both Indra and Vishnu are worshipped by yajna performance. But here Arjuna asks who is actually the Lord of yajna sacrifice and how the Lord is residing in the body of the living entity. So both are worshipped, but we should understand the Agra Puja or the first worship is done to Vishnu, and then all other demigods that is shared. So if you see any yajna, there will be some mantras either of Vishnu Tattva, that may be Narayan or Nasima or whatever it may be, but there will definitely some mantras for that. And after that, then the others will be given their share. If there are no mantras for Vishnu or Narayan or Krishna, that means we should understand that that yajna will have no result. It will go in vain. Because if yajna has to get some result, it requires involvement of Krishna or Vishnu. Otherwise, it is just a waste of time. Arjuna addresses the Lord as Madhusudana because Krishna once killed the demon named Madhu. So there was one Madhu demon who had come and Krishna killed. So Sudana means killer and Madhu means the name of demon. So because Krishna killed him, his name is Madhu Sudana. So Krishna is called Hari Sudana or Madhu Sudana. So here, see the words which is selected by Arjuna. So it's like poetry. So name also refers that what does Arjuna uh, require from Krishna. He's saying that you have killed the demon Madhu. Now kill these doubts. These doubts have come. Like you have killed the Madhu. So once killed Madhu is not come back. So once you kill these doubts, this should not come back to me. So I should be so clear, so give me such clear understanding that never I would have such doubts again. So actually these questions, which are of nature of doubts, should not have arisen in the mind of Arjuna because Arjuna is a Krishna conscious devotee. Therefore, these doubts are like demons. Since Krishna is so expert in killing demons, Arjuna here addresses him as Madhusudana so that Krishna might kill the demonic doubts that arise in the Arjuna's mind. So, very important thing, doubts are like demons. So if you want to rise in bhakti, we should not have doubts. If there are doubts in our heart, we will not be able to do bhakti. And therefore, it said samshayatma vinashyati. Wherever there is samshaya, where there is doubts, the point is we will not grow. And therefore, in Pune, we have Radhesham Prabhu, who has one program. And he says, Samshay Nas and Bhakti Prakash. So the Samshay or doubts, they are killed, and therefore Bhakti Prakash. So uh, whenever we have doubts, we should clear them out. If we don't clear them out, then it will affect our bhakti. What are doubts we have? And therefore, here also, if we see, Arjuna is addressing as Madhusudana so that Krishna might kill the demonic doubts that arise in Arjuna's mind. So that is what the main thing is. Now, the word prana kala in this was very significant because whatever do in this in the life will be tested at time of death. So we may enjoy the life however we want, but like any student, whole year he may study or not study. But if he does well in exam, then he can pass. If he doesn't do well in exam, then he will not pass. But how will he do well in exam? If he has studied the whole life, he will do well in exam. If he has not studied the whole life, he will not do well, good in exam. See, there may be some exceptions. We are not talking about exceptions. We are talking general life. So similarly, whatever we do in our life, we will test at the time of death. But how will we act at the time of death will depend how we have acted in our whole life. If your whole life you have not taken name of Lord, then it will be very difficult that we will be able to take name at the time of death. And therefore, Arjuna is very anxious to know of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. So there are so many devotees, so many people who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. So Arjuna wants to know what is their position and what should be their position at that final moment. What will happen to them? So everybody is anxious in this world. Like we are also anxious that what will happen of us at the time of death. And therefore, we try to spend our days. We are very conscious that how we spend our days are uh, are we wasting our time or not? So our avyartha kalatvam is one of the symptom of an advanced devotee. So avyartha kalatvam means one does not waste a single moment, a single second also without the name or without doing any activity in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, very important to know that this happens with time, and we may try as far as we can, but we will slip. But at least if we have idea that this is what is expected, then we'll try to achieve this with our limited intelligence and limited whatever understanding and control we have, because we don't have control over our senses also. It sometimes go haywire and somewhere here and there. So like in 6th chapter, Arjuna also asks that how to control my mind. So not an easy thing. So at the time of death, all body functions are disrupted. So what is position of mind? At the time of death, all the body functions are disrupted and the mind is not in proper conditions. This is a very important thing. Now, recently, one devotee had told that she was at the last stage of her death. It was like she got her life back. It was near that situation. And she could not chant the Hare Krishna mantra. She said, I tried a lot, but the organs, the mouth could not chant only. And I tried a lot. From my mind, I tried to remember a lot, but the mind will not function. The 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 mouth will not function. Very difficult. I knew that I want to chant this, but still I could not because the whole functions were dropped. The whole body had so many noses and so many things. And then suddenly Jagannath ji appeared and he showed the whole life to me. And then she said that Jagannath gave me a second chance to live, and I was back. But this is a situation that the body is so disturbed that it is very difficult to remember the Lord at the time of death. So Maharaj Kulshekar, a devotee, prays, "My Lord, my dear Lord, just now I am quite healthy. It is better that I die immediately so that the swan of my mind can seek entrance at the stream of your lotus feet." So, uh, Kulshikar Maharaj is a wonderful devotee. He has written a book named Mukunda Mala Sutra. So, this Mukunda Mala Sutra is very wonderful book which we have. And thus, he has written so many realizations about his devotion and how one should do devotion. So Mukul Mala Shlotra, and he says that let me die now, because when we are young, it's easy to remember Lord, but when we are old, when the memory is not functioning, when our other organs are not functioning, we cannot even see, we cannot even remember, we cannot talk. So that time it will be very difficult for me to remember you. So let me remember you now. And therefore, he says such a thing. The metaphor is used because the swan, a bird of the water, takes pleasure in digging into the lotus flowers. Its sporting activity is to enter the lotus flower. So the, the metaphor is used because swan is a bird of water and it sports with lotus flower. So like we see the crows, they will also go in the filth where it's dirty things, but the swan will go into clear water and will enjoy lotus flower. Oh, so Maharaj Kulashekara says to the Lord, now my mind is undisturbed and I am quite healthy. If I die immediately, thinking of your lotus feet, then I am sure that my performance of your devotion service will become perfect. So, like swan, it sports into the lotus flower. Let me also uh, give my all my attention to your lotus feet, so that I may meditate on your lotus feet and thinking of that. If I will die, then this will the best thing uh, which will happen, and I will attend you. But if I have to wait for my natural death, then I do not know what will happen, because at that time the body functions will be disrupted, my throat will be choked up, and I do not know whether I shall be able to chant your name. Better let me die immediately. Arjuna questions how to fix, how a person can fix his mind on Krishna's lotus feet at such a time. So let me die now so that I may remember you. I may not remember you at the time of that, not possible, very difficult to remember. Because he said that the throat will choked up. So this happens, this actually happens. Like we have cough now, then the throat chokes up. So we cannot imagine at a time of death what can even all happen. Nothing can work. And therefore we need to practice very hard, very uh in a way honestly that we can remember Krishna at the time of death. So from verse 3, Krishna will start giving answer. So the first 7 questions will be answered in verse number 3 and 4. And the last question, how to know you at the point of death, is the rest of all the chapter. That is, the remaining chapter will answer this one question, how to remember at the time of death. So this is how this chapter will flow. And we'll end in there are 28 verses, so we'll have till 28 verses. Last recite verse number 3. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visarga Karma Samnita. The Supreme Personality of God said, the indestructible transcendent living entity is called Brahman. So what is Brahman was the first question. So Brahman means the living entity, the jiva, that is the spirit soul, not the body, but indivisible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. Is and eternal nature is called Adhyatma. So eternal nature means Swabhava. So our nature is like the impressions which we carry from life to life. So what happens is whatever we do, one is there is karma for what we do. That is right. If we do right, we get a good karma. If we do wrong, we get bad karma. But more than that, there's an impression which is left on the mind. And next time, when such circumstances are made, we are again inclined to do that thing. Suppose we ate a gulab jamun. So now the gulab jamun was very good, and we like that. So because we like the gulab jamun, what will happen is next time whenever we'll see gulab jamun, the impression will be there. Oh, last time you had that gulab jamun, it was so nice. Why don't you eat it again? So these impressions are carried from lifetime to lifetime, and therefore we do so many activities like so many people we see, or even children also we see. We have not taught them anything, but they will do some things. They have certain likings towards some food. They will not have some likings towards other food. They'll have some liking towards this type of friend, that type of friend. How this has all come? Because of previous samskaras or previous sabhavas which have come from the previous life. So this is called adhyatma or self. Then action pertaining to development of material bodies or living entities is called karma. So karma means what? Or karma or fruitive activities. Whatever we do right or wrong, whatever we do, it it is like when we do anything, it is developing a new body. Suppose somebody is eating prohibited items. Somebody is eating some non-veg, somebody is eating. So what does Krishna say? Oh, if you want to eat non-veg, if you want to eat some animals, why want to have this human body? I will give you animal body. So in this way, what will happen? You will be able to eat also, and there will be no regret also. At the same time, you can enjoy. See, in human form of life, how can you enjoy also? It's not so sort of easy. So therefore, let me give this body. So in this way, if we see different things, whatever we do, somebody wants to sleep more. And Krishna says, in this body, how can you sleep more? This is a body of austerity. Let me give you of a body of a bear or somebody who sleeps more than 16, 17 hours a day. So in this way, we see that our next body is created. So what are actions we do the whole day? And uh, and see, devotion and this body goes simultaneously. Like Jada Bharat Maharaj, he was a great devotee of Lord. But the last stage of his life, he was attracted to a deer. So what happened? Materially, he got a body of a deer, and spiritually, he remembered whatever activities he did. So spiritual life was also continued at the same time because he remembered the deer at the time of death, he got the body of deer. So very important on whom are we meditating on the whole day and what are we doing on the whole day. So this all are forming different bodies, and in one life is sufficient for us to create n number of bodies. So because in human form of life only and in this earth planet only, there is karma and all. In other lives or in other planets, it's only exhaustion of karma. If you do good karma, you exhaust the good karma, or if you do bad karma, you exhaust the bad karma. That is the all thing it is done in all the other planets. Otherwise, the creation of karma happens only on this earthly planet. That's all, and only in the human form of life. So therefore, we should be very, very careful of what we are doing and how we are doing. Purport. Brahman is indestructible and eternally existing, and its constitution is not changed at time. So Brahman means it's indestructible, so it eternally exists. See, whatever has birth will have death. Because the jiva has no birth, it has no death. Therefore, it is indestructible and eternally existing. And its constitution is not changed. Even there is a different change of body, even there is tsunami, then there is cloud burst, even there is cyclone, whatever happens, the soul is eternal. It will not change. It will not die. We have seen in this chapter number 2, it cannot be dried, it cannot be cut, it cannot be moistened, it cannot be burned, nor by any weapons, nor by fire, nor by wind, nor by chemicals. Nothing can happen to it. And therefore, it is eternally existing. But beyond Brahman, there is Parabrahman. So Parabrahman means Krishna or the Supreme Lord. So Brahman refers to living entity and a Parabrahman refers to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is additional information which Prabhupada is given so that we not be confused between Brahman and Parabrahman. So the constant position of living entity is different from the position he takes in the material world. In material consciousness, his nature is to try to be the Lord of matter, but in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, his position is to serve the Supreme. So when we come to this material world, we want to become the masters. We want to be Lord of the nature. So that is the whole nature why we have come in this material world. Because everybody who has come in this material world is envious of Lord in some way or the other. And therefore Krishna said, okay, here I am the boss. If you try to become a boss, then it will not work. Because all of the people here will chastise you and it will not work. So I will make a different world for you where you can also become boss. So like this, so many living entities wanted to become boss. So all have come here. And then a simple false ego is given to everybody. So a false ego what? So everybody thinks that I am the boss and others are like, they're not existing. And this way, everybody tries to lord over the material nature. So whatever we see, whatever we do, we always try. This year, I got 1 lakh profit. Next year, it will double, 2 lakh. Next year, it will double, 4 lakh. This year, our sales is this. But now, next year, it will increase. This year, we have so much property. Next year, it will increase. So this way, everybody tries to lord over the material nature. He tries to get more and more and more. So this is the nature in this material world. So when the living entity is in material consciousness, he has to take on various bodies in the material world. So when our consciousness is material, so Krishna, anyways, okay, you want more and more of this earthly planet, then you have to take more birth here. Somebody who doesn't want anything from this earth planet, who has no greed, he just takes whatever is needed for his survival, will go to spiritual planet. But when you need something on material planet, then you have to again take birth in this material planet. This is what Krishna says. So this is called karma or varied creation by the force of material consciousness. So this is karma. So by that, what happens is one get various bodies. So in Vedic literature, the living entity is called Jivatma and Brahman, but is never called Parabrahman. The living entity Jivatma takes different positions, sometimes emerges into the dark material nature and identifies himself with matter, and sometimes he identifies himself with the superior nature, spiritual nature. So, because the Jiva is of Tatastha Shakti, Tatastha means middle. So like we have this ocean. So ocean, if we see, the place where it is very near to water, but is land. So sometimes we see that the water comes on that place and we see it's a part of water. But sometimes the water is back in the ocean or that place. So we see this is land part. So nobody can say the defining line that is the land part or water part. So it's called Tatastha. Similarly, Jiva, actually constitution is spiritual, but the spiritual power is so less that it can anytime be contaminated by matter, or it can come under the conditional nature of matter. So the jiva can live at both places, in the spiritual world also, in the material world also. See, the spiritual living entities which are there, which are of the higher energy, they're always situated in spiritual world, and the material energy is always material world. But the jiva is very special because it can stay in both these worlds, material also and spiritual also. So sometimes he identifies with matter and sometimes the superior spiritual nature. So our goal is to identify ourselves with superior nature, and therefore we are doing this bhakti so that gradually we may go to the spiritual planet. Therefore, it's called the Supreme Lord's marginal energy. So he's like a marginal energy. He's not the superior energy, but marginal energy. According to his identification with material or spiritual nature, he receives a material or spiritual body. So whatever he identifies himself with, if we identify with material things, we get material body, and if we identify with spiritual nature, then we will be liberated from this material world. In material nature, he can take a body from any of the 84 lakh species of life. But in spiritual nature, he has only one body. So this is very important thing. Now the question may arise, why these 84 lakh species are there? Not 85, not 82. So Krishna has identified 84 lakh varieties of enjoyment. That whatever enjoyment you want in this material world, oh, I will enjoy. Like if we see the birds enjoy in a different way, the animals enjoy in a different way. Some animals have good strength. Some animals they don't have so much strength, but they have another thing. They have good eyesight, or some can smell more. So every animal or every living entity has different type of enjoyment which he does, and therefore the structure, the size, if we see the design is all different from all, and not all the 84 lakh species are there on the earthly planet. So we have multi-planets like Venus, Earth, Mars. So life is there everywhere. And there will be some species which are only there in that planet, not in our planet. And therefore, if we try to count this 84 lakh species, it will not be possible for us to count. But because that is the type of enjoyment, the number of enjoyment is there in material world, therefore, Krishna has uh, made this 84 lakh species of life. And this 84 lakh species of life, in that also, in human beings, there are 4 lakh species, and the difference is in consciousness, chetna. So the different consciousness of living entity defines the different varieties of uh, living things. So in material nature, he's manifested sometimes as man, demigod, animal, beast, bird, etc., according to his karma. To attain material heavenly planets and enjoy their facilities, he sometimes performs sacrifices yajna, but when his merit is exhausted, he returns to the earth again in the form of a man. This process is called karma. So people do lot of sacrifices, lot of things, and they go to spiritual world. But after some time, spiritual world, they go to Swarga. But after some time, when the karma is exhausted, they come to this earthly planet. So this Swarga is called Swarga or Amartva, there where nobody dies. So why nobody dies there? It is like a hospital. So in a hospital, it is written that nobody dies in the hospital. Now what they do? So as soon as they see the patient is getting serious or is about to die, they will directly shift him to another hospital. So that in that hospital, nobody is dead because he's been transferred to another hospital and that hospital may die. Similarly, what happens in this material planets is whenever the pious credits are going to be exhausted, so what happens? They have been thrown out of the heavenly planets and they come to Bilga Swarga. That is a place between the heavenly planets and the earth. And there they enjoy some residue. And from there they again come back to the earthly planet. So this is a cycle how it goes again and again and again. So therefore, this whole process is called karma, where the activities you do helps you to get another body. The Chandogya Upanishad describes the Vedic sacrificial process. On the sacrificial altar, 5 kinds of offerings are made into 5 kinds of fire. The 5 kinds of fire are conceived as of the heavenly planets, cloud, earth, man, and woman. And the 5 kinds of sacrificial offerings are the faith, enjoyer, moon, rain, grains, and semen. So this 5 kinds of offering is made and into 5 kinds of fire. So this is how it is done. So these heavenly planets, clouds, earth, man, and woman. So these are the 5 kinds of fire. And in each of the fire, the sacrifice offering is made. So therefore, this happens. In the process of sacrifice, the living entities make specific sacrifice to attain specific heavenly planets and consequently reaches them. So to reach another planet, you need not have aeroplanes and all. The process is by sacrifice. When we do sacrifice, when we please the particular demigod, and then we get a chance to enter that place. When the merit of sacrifice is exhausted, the living entity descends to earth in the form of rain, and then take form of grain, and the grain are eaten by the man and transformed to semen, which impregnates a woman, and thus living entity once again attains the human form to perform sacrifice, and so repeat the same cycle. The very important thing, please note how these things are happening. See, what happens is after sacrifice, one reaches the heavenly planets. So from heavenly planets, what happens when there is a rain? So in the form of rain, what happens is the living entities come back and they form ghas or anything, the grass or anything. So this grass is eaten by animals, and that animal milk is eaten by man, or the next thing is either they become take form of grains. So the grains are eaten by man, and what happens is when the grains are eaten by man, so from this 8 transformation happens in the form of grains is like mass, majja and all, and lastly the semen is formed. The semen is impregnated in a woman, and from that again this man attains a human form of life. And there from there he repeats the same cycle, that is he does yajna, does so many sacrifice, and then he has his pious traits and again goes to Swarga. So these are systems, these are signs of how one goes to Swarga and how he comes back. So whenever there are rains, you should understand that the living entities, so many living entities are coming back in the form of grains, in the form of grass, and then they are again taking birth in the form of human beings. So this way the cycle carries on. So actually there is no point in again going to Swarga, then coming back, going Swarga, coming back, going Swarga and coming back. But in some of the Vedic texts, it is written that this is the only ultimate goal, and therefore so many devotees only try to go there and come back. And if there is an association of devotees or some devotee intercepts, then it can happen that he may aim for spiritual planets. In this way, the living entity perpetually comes and goes on the material path. The Krishna conscious person, however, avoids the sacrifices. He takes directly to Krishna consciousness, thereby prepares himself to return to God. So why does devotee do not do sacrifice? Sometimes so many people ask that why don't you do sacrifices, this sacrifice, that sacrifice? We're only chanting, hearing, and doing bhakti thing. Why? So the reason is, what is the use of doing sacrifice if you are going back, coming back, going back? Better do chant Hare Krishna or Krishna's mantra or Radha's name, whatever one may have the sampradaya or Ram's name, whatever they, and go back to God. If there is a Rama Bhakta, I will go to Ayodhya. Uh, or if he is a Krishna Bhakta, I will go to either Aishwarya Goloka or Goloka Dham, wherever it is. If he is a devotee of Narsimha, he will go to Narsimha planet. So in that way, he'll be liberated. He'll not come on this material planet. So that one should go. Impersonalist commentators on Bhagavad Gita unreasonably assume that the Brahman takes the form of Jiva in the material world, and to substantiate that this they refer to chapter 15, verse 7 of the Gita. So impersonalist commentators, so we know impersonalist commentator means one who believes on Brahman, or one says that we are not uh, uh, we are not like we have come from Brahman, so after some time we'll again be merged into Brahman. So this is what they say, and everybody is God and all. This is what the definition is, that one is here, but after some time he'll becoming God and will merge into the Brahman effulgence. So they unreasonably assume this, and they take this uh, verse number 15.7, which says like Mamevamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakritistani karishyati. So this word actually says that every living entity is my part and parcel, and they are struggling very hard into, which includes the mind. So that is what it says. But chapter 15 was Gita. So this was the Lord also speaks of living entity as eternal fragment of myself. So this word eternal fragment means always they will remain different from me. They are one of the parts. So this they don't believe. The fragment of God, the living entity, may fall down into the material world, but the Supreme Lord never falls down. So if he also falls down, how is Lord? If he is also conditioned by material nature, how is Lord? Therefore, here it is not acceptable, and therefore it is said that the Supreme Lord never falls down. The living entities may fall down. Therefore, this assertion that a Supreme Brahman assumes the form of Jiva is not acceptable. So, we can never become Lord, and the Lord never becomes Jiva. He is always, always, always Lord. He may take a human form, but he is still Lord. He can never, he can never become Lord. That we should always understand. There was the assumption of the Supreme Brahman assumed the form of Jiva is not acceptable. It's important to remember that in the Vedic literature, Brahman, the divinity, is distinguished from Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord. So Vedic literatures, we have this distinction of Brahman and Parabrahman. So now in verse number 4 also, uh, this Adi Bhuta, Adi Yagya, and Yagya will be all explained. Adi Bhutam Aksharo Bhavan Purushaschadi Daivatam Adi Yagyoham Evatra Deha Deha Britam Varam. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adi Bhuta, the material manifestation. So Adi Atma refers to a nature, Adi Daiva is like a Virat Purusha, and Adi Bhuta are this uh, physical world or this all living entities or other living entities which are constantly changing. The physical nature is constantly changing is called Adi Bhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of sun and the moon, is called Adi Deva. So Adi Deva is this universal form of the Lord. So this form is temporary, and this has all the demigods also, like sun, moon, everybody is called Adi Deva. So Adi Deva refers to this all demigods. Because of this, we get the rain. Because of this, we get all this heat, sunshine, and everything. So sometimes they give us uh, gain, and other times they give us pain. So if they are not this Daiva, there will no air, water, and also because they are giving us, we are very grateful. But at the same time, sometimes there is more rain, sometimes there is less rain. So this all creates problems. So this all is there. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented by the Super Soul, as the Super Soul in the heart of every living being, is called Adi Yagya. So the Lord of Sacrifice. So Super Soul means he's sitting in our heart as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's the Adi Yagya. He is the Lord of all sacrifice. So therefore, we should, whatever we do, we should do for him. And if we do for him, then our life is successful. So he's represented by Super Soul. So in this material world, till the time one becomes a devotee, so Super Soul is sitting in our heart. As soon as one becomes a devotee, his Ishtadev, whoever may be, he starts dictating from within the heart. But the physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle, and they become vanish, and they vanish. So there are 6 stages which every living entity has to go. This physical nature is called Adi Bhuta. This is called Adi Bhuta. It is created at certain point and will be annihilated at certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and the different planets, is called Adi Deva. So other living entities is Adi Bhuta, or the nature which is changing. And Adi Deva is like the different demigods. And present in the body along with the individual soul is the super soul, a plenary representative of Lord Krishna. So super soul is expansion of Krishna. It's a plenary representation. He's representing Krishna, but he's one of the expansion. The super soul is called the Paramatma or Adi Yagya and is situated in the heart. Therefore, the Jiva and the Paramatma are situated in the heart, and therefore the whole body is functioning. So even scientists say that why the living entity is alive, because the heart is pumping blood. And they don't say from where the energy is coming to the heart to pump all the blood. So it is through the Jiva. And because the super soul is there, the Jiva is present in the body. As soon as super soul will leave the body, the Jiva also cannot stay in the body and will leave the body. And therefore, um, if Krishna wants, he can kill anybody. He just has to come out of the body. That's all. Finished. The body will be finished. Therefore, Krishna or Lord does not come here in this material world to kill the demons, but they come specifically to please the devotees. And while pleasing the devotees, the pure devotees, they instantly kill all the demons. So that is the main thing. That is, they come out of love for the devotees. So the word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word, the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is non-different from him. So in one sense, Paramatma is not different, even the Anshas. The super soul, the Supreme Personality Godhead, seated beside the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of soul's various type of consciousness. So the super soul, his main job is to witness what we are doing and source of soul's various types of consciousness. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witness his activities. So super soul will never ever intervene in our free will. Even if we are doing wrong, the super soul will never say that you are doing wrong, please stop or nothing. He is just an seer, and second, he gives permission. If your karma is there, he will give permission. If it is not there, it will not give permission. That is the role which super soul has. The functions of all these different manifestations of Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna consciousness devotee engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord, called Adi Devata, is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as Super Soul. The neophyte is advised to contemplate the universal form of Virat Purusha, whose legs are considered the lower planets, whose eyes are considered the sun and the moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system. So, so the neophyte person, for them, he can meditate on universal form if he cannot meditate on the Supreme Personality Godhead or Virat Purusha. In this way, he can go further. But for devotees, we can meditate directly on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this all universal form and all is very elaborately described in Bhagavatam, Canto 2 and Canto 3. So if one wants more information, one can refer to these chapters. Now, from verse number 5 to further verses all, it is like how to remember Krishna at the time of death. So this is a subject matter of the remaining chapter and different aspects of remembering Krishna time of death are given. So let's recite verse number 5. Antakale cha mameva swaran mukta kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti yatra samsaya. And whoever at the end of his life quits its body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So now Krishna will start explaining of the laws of how one can attain him and how to attain that stage, and all will explain further in the verses. So here he says that at the end of life, if one quits his body remembering him, So he attains his nature. That is, nature means his abode. Or he attains spiritual nature. So the point that so many people say that if you worship anybody, you reach the destination is not accepted in this verse. If you see, it is said if one remembers him, he will go to supreme planet. He attains his nature. If one remembers Indra, he will not reach Chandra's planet. He will reach Indra's planet. Similarly, if somebody remembers uh, whoever at a time of life, they will go there only. So, therefore, we should be assured that one cannot reach Krishna by doing or by going to any path. It's not possible. Like suppose we'll give a material example. If somebody goes to a medical college, he takes admission in medical college, he cannot become an engineer. He will become a medical student. He will become a MBBS student. He will become a doctor, but he will never become a engineer. Engineer. He will not get engineering degree. So in this material world is not possible. Then how come it's possible in spiritual world that anybody can worship anybody and reach the supreme direction? No, it's not possible. So the sign that somebody has received a mercy of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra is that his deities will be fixed, his mantra will be fixed, and the process will be fixed. The books will be fixed. That now he will not go to different places. He will attach to one place. That is a sign that he has received mercy from the Lord. And then he will not be attracted to so many things. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Lord, Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also purest of the pure. So, the symptom that are we pure or not? So, one of the symptoms is that how much time we are remembering Krishna. If we can remember Krishna 24 hours a day, that means that much purity we have, that we are pure. If we are not pure, it will be difficult for us to remember Krishna because uh, we'll have so many different thoughts coming on. And therefore, uh, anyone who's constantly remembering Krishna constant, that's avyakta kalatvam. Nama gana sada ruchi. So one of the symptom of bhava is nama gana sada ruchi. So he has so much ruchi, he must so much taste in the nama and gana that he will constantly recite the names, he will constantly do things. So that is his position. And this will happen. The word smaram, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. So, remember is very important, that whom we remember. So, whatever will come. So, remember Krishna is not possible in impure soul. So, one who has not practiced Krishna consciousness cannot remember Krishna at the time of death. So therefore, our daily sadhana is very, very, very crucial and important. We may have taste, may not have taste, we may have time, we don't have time. We may like it, we may not like it, whatever it may be. But if we don't do our sadhana on a daily basis, at the end, we'll not be able to remember Krishna. So one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. So from beginning of life it starts, maybe whatever it may be 5, 10, 20 years. Then one will get success at the end of life. That means to become pure devotee in this lifetime also will take so much years, 50, 60, 70 years will take to reach a certain stage of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of life, the process of remembering Krishna consciousness is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tall as a tree, Tarur Ivasa Ishwar. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Krishna, Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. So, when we chant, there may be impediments that our body is not cooperating, mind is not cooperating, relatives are not cooperating, mother, father are not cooperating, children are not cooperating, husband is not cooperating, wife is not cooperating. So many restrictions, maybe there, so many things may be there. We may not like it, or we may not have the right intention to chant, or so many things may happen. But still, one should try to remember Lord, and one should be tolerant of all the things happening in life. If one is tolerant, then one can easily go back to Godhead. One can chant the holy name very nicely. And therefore Chaitanya Prabhu says, Taro Reva Saishuna Amanina Manina Ketanya Lahari. So if one is tolerant and gives all respect to others and is humble like humble also, then one can remember Krishna 24 hours a day. So at the end of one's life, so when we chant the whole life, the benefit is there at the end of life, not in the middle. Therefore, sometimes devotees say that I'm chanting for 10 years, 15 years. Why there is no result? There is definitely result. The result is always there. But it may not be visible at this point of time. It will be visible at the time of that. Suppose somebody is investing money. Every month he's investing. So for so many years, the results may not be seen. But at the end of the tenure, the result is definitely seen when you get the money with interest in your account. Then you can see, oh, this much the money has become. So sometimes the result may not be seen immediately, but the end it will see. And when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, what happens is, first of all, the karma which is going to come in next lifetime or other time, or which has not been fructified, first they get destroyed. And then in this life it comes, and from in this life also it starts destroying. So it takes some time because there are so many karmas we have accumulated in so many lifetimes to destroy all this. So we should be patient enough to give Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least one lifetime so that all our sins are erased and we can go back to Godhead. And now uh, it says, what is the general law of death? So before that is written that remembering Krishna, now it is a general law. What happens at the time of death? Yam yam vapi swaram bhavam tajante ante kalevaram tam tameveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitam. Whatever state of being one remembers while he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So whatever state, whomever we remember at the time of death will attain that stage. So our spiritual bhakti will go on with the spiritual things, and the material body will get according to what we have remembered at the time of death, if we are not pure. And if we are pure, then definitely we'll go back to Godhead, or at least to a place where some Krishna is doing his activities. Some place where Krishna is performing his pastimes, so that we are being trained further. Because after from going from here also, there is one more life we have to take, where Krishna's pastimes are going on, where we are nicely trained in whatever rasa we have. So if somebody has Vatsala, then he may be either a servant of Yashoda Mai or in the body of Yashoda Mai and taking that lessons. Oh, Yashoda Mai is serving like this. Okay. Oh, I should have served like this. Okay, this is the way to serve Krishna. Okay. Like this, the person learns from that. Oh, Subal Sakha. Oh, how to act like a friend. Oh, this is the way. So that's way one understands. And so this is there. And then from there, one goes back to Godhead. Purport. The process of changing one's nature by at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of life quits his body, thinking of Krishna, attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. So, to train mind is very important in the life, because the main work of thinking is in my mind. Mind does thinking, feeling, and willing work. So, it is very necessary to train the mind so that at the end we may remember Krishna and not other things. So gradually, if we want to remember Krishna at the end of life, we should be detached. Gradually, we should be detached from other things. If we are attached to certain things, then at the end of life, we'll only remember the things we are attached to. So that gradually, the detachment should also take place as soon as one grows in spiritual life. Detachment doesn't mean that one doesn't do a duty or one leaves everything. Oh, from today I will leave my home and everything. I will donate this. No, it means doing activities without being attached to the things which we have in our possession. So activities will be there, eating or staying in a house or whatever it may, but will not be attached. So tomorrow, if a situation appears that we have to leave the house, we can leave it without having pain in our heart that, oh, I lost so much. Because at the end of life, anyways, we will losing everything. So Krishna prepares us gradually by taking some things from us, and then at the end, even the life force and everything is gone. So this is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaj Bharata, see this example is given. What happened to Maharaj Bharat? He was very advanced devotee, very, very advanced. Although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life. So in the next life, he was transferred into body of deer. So just at the end of life, what happened was there was a deer. So just delivered a baby deer and died. And here Bharat Maharaj had some compassion on that. Oh, who will take care of that baby deer? So he brought it to his home. So till that point it was all okay, all good. It is good. But afterward, what happened is gradually he started to spend more and more time with the deer and neglected his all the spiritual duties. And therefore he got a life of a deer. But whatever bhakti he had done in the previous life remained, and therefore in the body of a deer also he could remember what special activities he had done before and what mistake did he do not to get this human form of life and come in the form of deer. So he went again to the ashram. He was eating just dry leaves and things, and he was hearing lectures, and his bhakti was increasing much, much greater than also in the body of Bharat Maharaj. And then because of what he did in this life, he again got a body of human body, that is Jada Bharat. And in that life, he perfected his uh, life and went back to Godhead. So, of course, one thoughts during the course of one's life accumulates to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So this is very important. One's thought during the course of one's life. So whatever we are thinking at the time of living every day, that will accumulate at the time of death. So this life creates one's next life. If the present life one lives in the mode of goodness and always think of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the time of one's life. So first is living in the mode of goodness. So we should give up passion and ignorance as far as we can and come to the mode of goodness. And this mode of goodness comes by practice. And then always think of Krishna. It is possible. And to remember Krishna at the end of life also. That will help one be transferred to a transcendental nature of Krishna. If one transcendently absorbed in Krishna service, then her next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. So if one is engaged in Krishna's service, one body will definitely be transcendental and not material. That we should be very sure of. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. So when you chant this Mahamantra, what happens is our consciousness throughout the life is changed. And because our consciousness throughout the life is changed, then at the end also we'll have the same consciousness. And therefore, one will have such consciousness at the end of life. Now further, therefore here it is said now, because of this, you want consciousness at the end of life, then what you need to do is remember him in the when you are living. When we are living all days, we should remember him so that we can remember him at the end of life. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanussara yuddhaya cha mayarpita mano buddhi mameva yashi asamshaya. Tasmat means therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. At the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So first is always think of him in the form of Krishna. So we should think of Krishna in the form of Krishna. We should not think of Krishna in the form of Mohini avatar or some other avatar. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to remember Krishna. This is a clause. Always think of me in the form of Krishna, not other forms. Otherwise, we'll go to other places, other places. So in spiritual world also, there are different residences, like Varadevi's own planet, then Nasi Bhagwan is all her own planet. So if you want to worship them, then better we chant their mantra and go to their place. So very important. And carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. So one should just remember him and do whatever duty we have. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So when our activities are dedicated to Krishna and mind is also fixed on him, then we can attain him without fail. Purport. This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagement. So whatever we are doing in our life, we should continue. We should just add Krishna in our life. Krishna never says that give up all the activities, become sannyasi or live off life. No, never says this. One cannot continue them and at the end think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. Um, so, so one can continue them at the same time think of Krishna. So by chanting Hare Krishna, this will free one from material contaminations and engage the mind intelligently in Krishna. So this one thing, this chanting should be done in the morning. If it can be done in the Brahma Muhurta, is the best. Or if one does not gel with it, one has no taste in chanting, then what one can do either deity worship or write something or do something, uh, and gradually the mind will then be attached to Krishna and chanting also. So one can then try chanting the day. So however one can connect with Krishna is very important, and chanting is the best form in which we can connect to Krishna. But if somebody cannot relate to it, one can do deity services, one can read Bhagavatam. There are so many n number of devotional activities one can do, but one needs to connect with Krishna in one way or other. In this way, one will reach Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.